There it is. He's looking kind of the wrong way, isn't he? Why is he on that side if he's looking to the right? Okay. Mado, you're already a little lost. That's okay. Okay, so what do we got? Let's just go in order. Back cameo. That's this weird. So he's only got one summon and this is it. It's a high. Starts with 19 frames, which is reasonably fast from full screen. And I'm playing as the second character right now, which is making the life bars look confusing. But you can see I take a little bit of damage there. How much is that roundabouts? It's almost the same as taking it down 1 when he slams into me, but the opponent takes 80, so that's definitely more. And the recharge is normal, if not slightly fast. What's it like on block? Oh, plus 11, but that is from point blank. Is it different from afar? No, it is always plus. So this is almost a Striker's Detain on steroids, basically. So now when I'm zoning, like this is just if you're using Mado with Rain, anytime you call out this, and this is, keep in mind, a lot faster than any of my projectiles. 34 plus 15 frames of travel time versus just a straight 19. And that's plus 8, which is more plus than any of my special moves from full screen. And if it hits, we get pushed right in on top of each other. It doesn't say exactly what the hit advantage is, but it seems pretty good. Like, I'm convinced I could get a meaty overhead here. Yeah. So we get pulled in from full screen to go in for some 50-50 mix or just general pressure. That seems pretty good. That seems pretty good. And it's probably fast enough that if I want to get a conversion of this from full screen, yeah. I wonder, wait, can I even get that if the opponent jumps? Because people get hit by this a lot when they're jumping. Oh, that is pretty good. Okay, I like that. Because previously Striker could do it, but you didn't really get much from it. This is pretty cool. That's like decent damage, and you pull them in for some Oki. That is cool. Okay, I thought that was going to be the lame, boring move that we don't use, but that actually seems really good. Oh, it connects from a lot of things. What about this too? Oh, they move kind of weirdly for it. Okay, maybe not, but that's pretty cool. It could also be a combo ender in certain situations, but I think, yeah, particularly as a zoning tool, that's impressive. Plus on block, decent damage, and decently fast. I like it, Mavado. Okay, so that's back cameo. Is there a down cameo? Nothing happens when you press down in cameo. Neutral cameo? Yeah, that's the summon of this thing. So, there is a lot happening with this move. Takes the whole cameo bar. It suctions the opponent in. There's a few moves in the other own games that do this, kind of like, who was it in Injustice 2? One of the Ninja Turtles did something similar to this. Sucks you in, does a bunch of unblockable, like, chip damage, or like dot damage, then hits the opponent for a... It's just a mid, it's not a low. Okay, interesting. And they're stunned for a while, and they are airborne. So unfortunately for Rain, that probably means the only real combo extension you can get from this is just like the aerial portion of your combo. Unless the gravity isn't that bad, maybe you can do this. Or just straight this. But yeah, that's probably the max of the combo extending you're probably going to do from this, which is a little bit nerfed for Rain. But I'm sure there might be some cool setups, because this is an ambush, unlike Frost's version of a similar thing. I wonder, like, if I call it out in the middle of combos, like, what distance are we going? And how far does the suction work from? Okay, only kind of within that red field, which is pretty decent. But at the end of Rain's combos, like, yeah, they would be outside of the range of that. Interesting. And it does not stay there for ages. Oh, what if I call it out? No, they would go too far during my throw, surely. And also the wrong way. But if I do it fast enough, I can get a little bit of a combo like that. It's not very damaging though. But hey, if you want a throw combo, I guess we have that as an option. Don't think there's any chance you're going to be able to use it on the other side. So the setups from this are actually potentially interesting. So you could either do like weird stuff like that, where you go for the original Rain mix, but I'm trying to think about where this would be particularly beneficial, because if you summon this and then you can go for like kind of like suction mix, where you go for a button, yeah, then your back 2 gets to automatically go for a combo for free. Also your back 4, that's interesting. So it kind of makes your lows more threatening, but your overhead actually kind of becomes less threatening, because unless you like dash forwards, they might get sucked into the... You get a little bit of extra damage from the dot damage, but yeah, it's not like you're gonna need it to keep it plus, and if they do get hit when they're close enough, it is less reward. Interesting. And what if they're a decent distance? Can you get like a throw mix from this? Yeah, that's probably where it gets nasty. I see. I see. So it makes things like throws potentially a lot more threatening, as well as our lows, instead of always just being our overhead. So we kind of get more of a three-way mix off of this kind of thing now. Oh, and that's pretty good there, because our overhead, if we dash in, we can push them away so that they don't get hit by it and ruin the combo, but they get sucked in at the end to make it super plus. Okay, I'm starting to see the vision now. What if we do the same thing but with a low? Whoops. That also keeps it kind of safe. Maybe a back 4 is slightly better. Yeah, I think it stays plus a little longer. Or it stays more plus because it hits them later. Interesting. And I imagine if the opponent got hit by these mixes, they also lead to good outcomes. Oh, okay. The back 4 used to be a little bit closer. What about back 2? Yeah, they land in it. Easy. And 4-3. Oh, perfect. You pushed them out of the way just enough to not get hit by it. Okay, and if I didn't mess up that combo, that's a decent amount of damage. Okay, I see the vision here. And it probably blows up a certain wake-ups as well, depending on how close the mine is to them. Oh, and speaking of wake-ups, because it sucks in, I wonder... Wait, can I keep myself safe from this? Imagine. Oh, potentially. That's actually not too big of a gap. It's a little bit. But especially if we're spaced out a little bit, I think that gap is only big enough for the opponent to, like, pop in a down 1 or something. And if you get it on hit, then you get this setup as well. Let me just see if I can do that timing a little bit tighter. Interesting. Okay. Whoa. It doesn't go away on hit? Even if I hit Mavado, it doesn't disappear? Okay, that's kind of wild. So, ooh, maybe it's more of a pressure tool than a setup tool. Because, like, on setup, it seemed pretty cool, but the fact that it doesn't go away on either of the characters being hit... Oh! Does it break armor? Okay, no, my armor was just late. But that is really interesting, because usually when you hit the cameo, like, if it's... Even Chameleon disappears if you hit her glaive. Frost does as well. Whoa. Okay, that is pretty interesting. So now that means anytime I go for some kind of pressure sequence or something, like not only, okay, cool, we get a safe wake up if we spend all of our cameo bar, and if they get hit, you get some mega plus frames. But also now, like, wait, go to auto block, please. I don't know, there's so much potential for weird pressure. I'm trying to think of what would this be like most optimal for. Because you can make anything kind of plus and unattestably plus. And particularly if you have it in a way that the opponent is kind of pushed out, so it's really delayed. Because then they can't interrupt that. They have to like run away and try to jump out to like avoid the suction, because if they just try and mash on you, they're gonna get hit by the mine into an easy full combo. If I do something like this, like that's a bunch of guaranteed chip damage, or like on this one too, this has a little bit more of like an advancingness, so it's gonna be hella plus. And I can mix them even before they get hit by it. Oh, so they're expecting the hit and then I could go for a throw. Okay, this is kind of, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling what the message is here, Mavado. Whoops, that was meant to be a throw. Okay, so we kind of get this three-way mix off of any like blocked button now. Interesting. And particularly on moves that have some kind of like forwards movement, like this string here. Because then it hits so late. Oh! That is pretty cool. I can even get... Okay, I'm really feeling the message. Okay, that is a cool move. That's neutral cameo. And then he has two more moves that are those ambushes. And the way they showed them seems kind of interesting. I wonder if you can always do them. So we've got forward cameo and down cameo and up cameo. So forward cameo, down cameo, and up cameo. Okay, that's what I suspected. Because the way they were showing them off in the trailers and in the combat cast was a little suspicious. So these aren't moves you can actually just throw out. It's more of a Darius overhead kick, where they have to be in some kind of knockdown state or airborne state. Interesting. So they have to certain hit states and then it can be activated. Okay. I wonder if it's lenient. Yes, it doesn't seem like the sweep has enough airborne frames to go into the forward cameo, but like forward 2 does. Oh, but even just from that, that seems like it could lead to good damage. Easy 30%, and the recharge seems decently fast. Down 2, you might have to time the forward cameo, but it seems like the forward cameo might be slightly better for Rain because the up cameo maybe can't. Oh yeah, no it can. Interesting. No, that's not happening. The requirements for him coming in certain situations seems weird. Because off of 114, you can just like summon him instantly for the up or forwards one. But if I go into my projectile, and I'm still mashing the input, like I've inputted the projectile and then this ages ago. But he comes out at a different timing. Like this, he just comes out instantly. If I do the projectile and I'm mashing on this, the timing seems different. And the up version doesn't seem to come out at all, which is peculiar. So maybe depending on what state your character in, slightly affects also what state he's allowed to come out in. Yeah, while I'm active in this down 4, he also can't come out. I mean back 4. Yeah, look, I'm mashing on the up cameo, and he can only come out once Rain actually jumps. So can he only do this once I'm kind of out of recovery? Look, yeah, I'm mashing forward cameo here. And you'd expect him to be able to come out just instantly as soon as he gets into the air. But he's only coming out as soon as Rain could have already pressed buttons. That's interesting. Just the like mechanics of it are interesting, but I'm sure it is going to be very strong. It's just a little bit more uniquely limited than I expected. Yeah, seems like it'll still be able to lead to great damage. The timing is really funky because it comes out super fast. But yeah, easy 38% from our BNB. And then what if we put some meter into it? Yeah, oh, easy 43% from our BNB with meter. Okay, that's getting pretty crazy. And if we do it off of this kind of combo... yeah, that's easy damage. It's actually similar damage just to do this without the meter. But dang, that is a damaging ambush extension. Yeah, actually, oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, that is being a lot more damage than we usually get from ambush extensions. If we do something like this with Scorpion, yeah, we're not getting nearly 30% from a down 2. Pretty easily. Interesting, okay. But another thing about the, like, specifics, like, I don't know, you have to be in a certain... The opponent has to be in a specific hit state, and you also have to be in a specific non-active state. So it really stops you. I'm mashing forward cameo, back cameo, up cameo. None of them ever come out, because even, like, after the bubbleless burst, I don't know, I guess you're not in the correct state for the thing to come out. So there's no chance of a throw combo with that, unfortunately. Interesting. Okay, there's enough hits done on the projectile, which could lead to some cool stuff. What if I did... You do the down one? The pop-up isn't that great, especially from afar. But maybe you can get, like, a back 3. Easy 30% from any of our projectiles. I'll take that. I'm so confused about what this specific hit state is, because Rain, like, if I'm trying to do it off of Geyser, I can even do it off of the first hit of Geyser. But Rain is still clearly active doing the animation of the Geyser. And in that situation, you have to time it. Whereas if I'm doing, like, my aerial string, look, I'm mashing forward cameo. It only comes out after I've finished the string. So it kind of auto times itself. Like, you can basically dial it in. But then from other things like this, it'll just come flying out at any time. It's really kind of confusing. But I get you can also use it in extensions like that. And it does seem like it comes back faster than the average ambush, which makes sense since it isn't like a physically hitting ambush. But yeah, while the geyser can, like, come out in the middle of the animation, if I try to extend with back 3-4, look what happens. Oops, a little early there. It can come out during the animation of back 3-4, but after 4, look, I'm mashing on it. It can only come out after Rain is fully recovered. It's like every move has its own scripted time of when Mavado is allowed to come out. And yeah, you have to wait there, so that doesn't connect either. Peculiar stuff. And he can come out easily, like, after this launcher. But if I've dialed in and I'm holding down the projectile, I can't summon him. So is that because Rain is doing a different move? I don't know. This is getting... getting a little confusing. But I guess if we disregard that and think about that later, it does seem like a generally damaging ambush. Even just simple stuff like this is doing easy above 30%, and that is like baby combos. So that probably also means things like this are going to be useful, perhaps. But then again, if you try to extend from something like this, that's not really going to work out well, huh? And even if you can land that back 3, you're not getting a full combo from it. So he's definitely extending combos in ways differently to how I anticipated. But it might just take a little bit of labbing to fully understand. And also there was this down cameo move, which I haven't talked about. So this seems like it also needs its own hit state, and that's when the opponent is airborne, but they also have to hit the ground. Except in this thing, I can do it before they even hit the ground. But yeah, we kind of got shown this off. So when the opponent is grounded from this, it's an OTG, so the opponent has to block it, or they get hit by it, and it's very plus. So it's a way of stopping the opponent from being able to wake up. So you're kind of guaranteed to get pressure. So they can't go for any armored wake up attacks or delays or anything, because they have to block this. Which honestly is kind of crazy to think about, because that kind of thing doesn't exist in Mortal Kombat at all. So now off of any of my combos, instead of like actively going for cool pressure, I can just turn a combo into a block string basically. So where my combo would have normally ended, the opponent is now blocking, and if they don't block, I believe they just get bonked. Yeah, they just get kicked to the other side of the screen. Which I guess means I get to start zoning. Or just dash in. That is very strange. But it's also weird because it's kind of like Darius's, where you can kind of summon them even after the opponent has fully recovered and is like not in that knocked down state. Like he's fully just standing there chilling. So I kind of get this ambush low that I can call out anytime after the opponent has been knocked down. Because like even if I like, you see this as an example, like these things are comboing into each other, so it's like still an active proper low even outside of the knockdown sequence, because this projectile in this sequence, it's not hitting the opponent, so it's not being OTG'd. The opponent just gets hit by that, and then they have to interact with that low, which I wonder, does that mean, do I get interesting overhead low mix? So yeah, in that situation, I can get like three, like the double high and the low hitting at the same time. So easy armor break and going into sequences from this ambush that I can call out and at any time. Adding a bunch of damage to any of my meaties. Dang. And that's just, yeah, from any knockdown. Just as long as it's close to them getting up. Can't do it too late, but yeah. I feel like there's going to be some cheeky mix with that. Like, take that for example. You can get overhead low mix, or I assume low overhead, assuming they block the low. And if that happens, then you make this jump in a guaranteed armor breaking anti-up block jump in, because this jump in here can be up blocked and it can be armored through, so it's not one of the range jump ins that I would call a safe jump. But if you time Mavado in certain ways during the jump in, you can make it, yeah, so it hits low. Oops. Or yeah, just clean hit overhead, and if I was closer to the corner, then I would get like a full combo from that overhead. And that, yeah, that was, I don't even know what that was, an instant low overhead. Like the mix from that is kind of crazier than Kung Lao had. Maybe not in the reward of the low, but the fact that it's an ambush and there's no setup at all, you can just do it from anything, as long as you've recently gotten knocked down. And then you can always just get some crazy mix like this. Like, look at that, overhead, then low. The other ones we had was low, then overhead. Or you could just go for the low, make them block it, go for throw. This seems really freaking dirty. And then, oh, wait, so if the opponent is just trying to stand block. Of course, if you go for overhead low, they'll get hit by the low because they're blocking the overhead. But yeah, you get pretty damn good Oki even if they do just choose to take the low. And it's a decent chunk of extra damage. What did that say? 60 or 80? You're effectively tacking on a bunch of extra damage to your combos just because the opponent is choosing to take the high. So that takes that like 30%-ish combo instantly up to like 40, 45. Oh yeah, 30 up to like 36, getting close to 40. So you either have to make the opponent like commit to just taking these lows, and then you get far better Oki, by the way, which also probably means that Rain can get some weird setups with his Whirlpool now that I think about it. If they're guaranteed to taking that low. Yeah, I imagine you can get some pretty meaty Whirlpool setups, particularly if you're in the corner. And if you're in the corner, then it might lead to a hard to blockable. Yeah, and depending on the timing and how you alter that, there's definitely some dirt here. Oh, it seems nasty. Yeah, it'll depend on when you summon Mavado and stuff, so I'll practice that. But dang. Seems like a funky cameo. Oh, we didn't try his forward throw. What do we get from this? Okay, average damage, but what's the knockdown like? Oh, it's close. Only, is it +4? That's not very plus then, but at least we have our amazing new back 3. So at least, even if we're only slightly plus, we'll be able to take our turn above the opponent. But that could also be lying. I feel like +4... Oh no, maybe it is, yeah. But at least you're left kind of close to the opponent. Oh, that kind of makes Mavado a bit of a rushdown monster then, huh? I know this kind of took a while, but a lot of his moves were quite unstandard. So just a quick summary now, and I'll kind of summarize these all from the lens of him being a rushdown monster. Is if we're full screen, we're trying to do our zoning or stuff, at any time we can choose to do this 19 frame plus on block full screen move that dashes us in for some Oki afterwards. So it's a great anti-zoning tool, and is also plus if the opponent chooses to block, which is a cool option. Then we've also got this crazy mine, which can lead to some ridiculous setups, ridiculous plus frame pressure. It's a lot more interesting and useful than I anticipated it being. It does cost a whole cameo gauge. Like, take stuff like this, where the opponent, yeah, they have to guess whether you're going to go into an overhead or use these plus frames, go for a throw, which will go for a full combo, and if they block, then it's just going to be completely plus. It also doesn't go away on hit. I can use it as a way to keep my armor safe and kind of keep it plus if they get hit by it. There is a lot of potential with this mine. Just, yeah, it's unfortunate it uses the whole cameo gauge, but at least it isn't a slow recharge. And then we have all these 3 interesting moves that can only be performed in certain hit states. So where the opponent is airborne in certain ways, then you can use forwards or upwards cameo to get some kind of combo extensions, which seems like they do lead to really damaging combos. They're just a little bit more restricted than I expected them being. It seems like there's some weird limitations into what counts as the opponent being airborne and what's an okay state to do this in. But we'll take a little bit of practice, and I'm sure we'll get some easy high damaging combos. Like, we already got this as a high damaging combo. And that's pretty easy to do for a 43% that is unoptimized. Oh, I'll take that. So interesting, like, additional damage tools, and they also come back pretty fast once we get the hit. It's cool. And then also we have this, like, game-changing Oki tool where we can turn any combo into basically a block string. We're forcing the opponent to block. They can't use armored attacks until they block the move. So it is going to be super useful in matchups where people have armored wake-ups and cameos that make their wake-up safe. And also we talked about how it seems like it can lead to some interesting overhead low mix, because you can just summon him at any point recently after a knockdown. So yeah, a lot of potential with this guy. Now I'm going to take the time to lab a little bit more, but first impressions, seems kind of crazy. He does take a decent chunk of your health though, I just noticed. 900 life. That actually kind of sucks a lot. You're not playing this character with Natara, that's for sure. Okay, that's worse than a striker or a Kano. Dang. Okay. That kind of... Oof. I don't know how I feel about that now, though. Because that's... Like, they're thinking that he's better than Janet and Chameleon. And Janet and Chameleon are some of the strongest cameos in the game. And they're not taking any of your life. Okay, we'll see if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But only time will tell. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.